shallow, she happens to be super smoking hot, like crazy smoking hot. At least for a, she's hot. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. So tune in and congratulations to Delle Donne on her WNBA MVP award. And your playoff matchups in the East will be the New York Liberty hosting the Washington Mystics, and then the Chicago Sky hosting the Indiana Fever. Hopefully we'll get a Liberty Sky Eastern Conference Finals there. That'd be good for the league. And then in the Western Conference, we've got your 1-seed Minnesota Lynx taking on the Los Angeles Sparks, who finished the season 14-20. I'm sorry, but you got a problem with your league playoff format if you have a team that finishes the regular season 14-20 and they make the playoffs. But so it should be a walk in the park first round, at least for the Lynx. Second round matchup, though, for the Lynx should be tough, as you will have the winner of the Phoenix Mercury, they're the 2-seed, versus the Tulsa Shock, they're the 3-seed. So there you go, that's catching you up on WNBA. Last little bit, we will catch you up on the MLB playoff standings, and then our Balls Deep Thought of the Day. Thanks again for listening. I'm Scotty Ball. This is Balls Deep Sports Talk, and all right, Major League Baseball. All right, so last night you had your Twins lose a heartbreaker, 5-4. Sano should have won it for us. Plouffe it into a double play right after that, and pretty much killed the moment to win. However, the Twins are still only currently 1 game back out of the second wild card spot. But however, they are no longer trailing the Texas Rangers. And that's not because the Texas Rangers have fallen off now and finally started losing. No, that's because the Texas Rangers have finally entered first place in the AL West. That's right. The Rangers beat the Astros last night and are now a half a game in first place in the AL West. So holy cow, Rangers just surging post All-Star break. Astros now would be your number 2 wild card team, and they are just 1 game above the Twins for that second and final wild card spot. You've also got the Angels hanging in there just a little bit for that wild card. Indians 1 game below 500. They've definitely, got it coming together here now a little bit. And then the Yankees would be your number 1 wildcard team at 79-65. Your division leaders would be the Blue Jays with a 3-game lead in the AL East, the Royals with a 10-game AL lead in the AL Central, and your Rangers, as I said, with a half-game lead over the Astros in the AL West. Then we go down to the National League, and in the Central, we've got the St. Louis Cardinals at 90-54, best team in baseball all year. They've got a 3-game lead in their division. That's it. Pirates are 87-57. They're the second best team in baseball. They're better than the Royals. Royals are 85-59. Pirates, as the first wild card team, 87-57. Second best record in all of baseball. They just happen to play in the same division as the best record in all of baseball. And then you've got your Cubbies locked in as the number 2 wild card. Wild card races are pretty much locked up in the NL. Division race, still a few division races. Dodgers pulling away out in the West. They are 7.5 games up on the Giants. And the Mets pulling away in the East. They are 8.5 games up on the Nationals. Now, just to note, the Mets are 83-62. The Dodgers are 83-61. So both of those division winners, 83 wins. Let's see. The Rangers division leader, 77 wins. The Blue Jays division leader, 82 wins. Second wild card team in the National League, Chicago Cubs, 83 wins. So, you look at these records, you look at these teams, and you look at how things are going to play out in the postseason based off of what should have been earned in the regular season. And mark my words, there will be tweaks and adjustments to the baseball playoff format starting next season already. All right. So I promise I will try to devote more time to baseball next week. I just got so carried away griping about my Vikings, but I mean, if you watched the game, I could have complained for another 5 hours yet. Just cracked the surface. But anyway, we are at the end of our show tonight. Thanks for listening. Let's get to our Balls Deep Thought of the Day real quick. So for Balls Deep Thought of the Day, we were talking about Nick Diaz and UFC getting suspended from the league for 5 years for testing positive for marijuana, a non-performance enhancing drug. So your Balls Deep Thought of the Day is short and sweet, and it is this. Should professional sports, leagues, organizations, whatever, the NFL, UFC, all that stuff, should professional sports test for, or even, should they penalize or even test for at all non-performance enhancing drugs. That's your balls deep thought of the day. Should they? I mean, what business? What does it serve? What does anybody gain? How is it a good idea in the good interest of anything or anyone to test these athletes for street drugs that don't give them any sort of competitive edge? In my opinion, in the majority of the world, I know a lot of people have to do this for their day jobs. They have to, pass a UA or whatever. But being under the influence of street drugs at a normal person's job, it will affect their performance, but their performance affects who they work for. Pro sports, especially UFC specifically. Nick Diaz, he goes out there and has a bad showing because he's all freaking wasted or something in a fight. First off, we don't ever know that he's ever fought under the influence of anything. But worst case scenario, he's under the influence of something in a fight. Let's go to that worst case extreme. He's under the influence of something in a fight. It doesn't give him any sort of competitive advantage. He loses the fight, and ultimately he's the only one that suffers and looks bad. The UFC doesn't. Well, this guy's got a personal problem, and he's messing it up for himself, and that's on him. It in no way reflects the league, or the organization. It in no way says, well, UFC is totally okay with all of its fighters, doing illegal drugs and stuff like that because they don't test for them. So that means that's how we're at as a society. If the NFL doesn't test its players for cocaine and marijuana and all these other stuff and all the other leagues and everything like that, somehow our warped mind as a society or as a media or just as gullible American idiots is that because they're not outlawing it and testing for it and enforcing the outlaw of it, then they're okay with it. They're supporting it. They're condoning it. It's like, no, it's just irrelevant. It doesn't freaking matter, so we're not going to give it the time of day. That's all. We got plenty of important things to worry about. If some fighter or some football player is going out and getting drunk on an off night, or is smoking some ganj on his couch or whatever, why should any of us care? Seriously, America, land of the free? I don't know. Seriously, why does any of it? If it affects something, like I said, you're working a normal job, you show up wasted, and you lose some customers, you have some faulty products, all kinds of bad stuff can happen. I get it. It's pro sports. If it ain't performance enhancing, it's got no business being tested. Get out of these people's personal lives. And that's my take on it. What's yours? Let me know what you think about this week's Balls Deep thought of the day, or anything else that we talked about on this week's show. You can do that on Twitter at BDST Show. Real simple. Or like me and friend me on Facebook at Scotty-Ball. Again, thank you for listening to the show this week and hopefully every week as we are broadcast on WNLM Radio every Wednesday night. Again, that's WNLMradio.com, Internet Radio, Northern Lights Radio, and you can also find us 24/7 on demand on the Spreaker app, which is free, the TuneIn app, which is free, SoundCloud, which is free, and YouTube, which last I checked is free. All right, well, till we do it again next week, this is Scotty Ball. Hoping you have a great rest of your week, a good weekend, and hopefully we can all be a lot happier next week after the Vikings get that first win of the season over our division foe Detroit Lions. All right, well, I will hopefully see you here next week. Same Balls Deep time, same Balls Deep channel. Scotty Ball, I'm out of here. Peace.